Hello Taurus, and welcome to your reading for 2019. This is a general reading, a broad overview, a snapshot of potentially what could come up this year for the sign of Taurus. Welcome, my name is Melanie. Today I'm using two different decks of cards. I'm going to leave the details of those cards below. The first deck I use is called Tattoo Tarot, Ink and Intuition, of which you can see the majority of the cards there. And then I also use another deck called the Dreamtime Reading Cards, of which I've pulled one card. I use them as a sort of like oracle cards to get an overall theme. So that card, you can see there, it just sits up to the side here. The Dreamtime is the Aboriginal Australian spiritual belief system, and these cards are about connecting with the ancient spirit and nature of Australia. I love these cards. I think they're really beautiful visually, and I love the meaning behind them. What I will do with that card is read from the booklet at the end of the reading about what the card called centipede or focus means. So I'm just going to dive right in. Hopefully some of this resonates with you or is of use to you. Obviously you won't know until maybe mid-year or end of the year. So what I've done is pulled a heap of cards for you. So the first card representing last year and what may have been the focus or the lessons of last year or some past energy. What came out for you guys was the moon card. Across the top there, standing up, those cards represent different areas of your life for 2019. So the first card we have there in the area of love and relationships, you guys have the Sun card. Beautiful card. The second card being about the area of money and finances for 2019 for Taurus, and for that you guys have the Nine of Wands. The third card is about work issues, study, hobbies. The Chariot came out for you guys. The next card along there representing matters of spirit, spirituality, faith, connection. You guys have the King of Swords card, and the final card across the top there representing the area of health for you guys, and the Ace of Cups came out. The last couple of cards there indicating obstacles that may come up for Taurus and Taurians for this year. You guys have the Hanged Man, and the last card there representing possible helpful tools for 2019 is the King of Cups. So I'm just going to dive right in and start with the moon card, which is in the position of past energy. So 2018, so what may have been a focus for you guys or some past energy, the lessons of 2018 in the moon. So the moon card represents illusion. It represents sometimes fears, insecurities, anxieties, things hidden, things unknown, mysterious elements within, like the unconscious, the subconscious mind, fears, impulses. It's a very emotional card and an intuitive card, so it can also represent your intuition. This card can be about what messages and signs you received through intuitive means last year, through dreams, through memories, long forgotten memories, through nightmares possibly. So it can be a card that goes either way in terms of being positive or negative. Fundamentally though, it is a card about sort of hidden factors and forces, whether that's your unconscious mind, fears going on in your head. It can be a card about working out, what's real and what's not in my life. It can be a very contemplative card. It can be a card that sort of tries to balance up the sort of base animal instincts within us with our intellect, with our kind of adult brain thinking impulses versus the animalistic kind of impulses. This card can be about self-awareness and sort of seeing how your behaviours affect other people, having more insight into yourself. So given the meaning of this card, it sounds like 2018 for people who are the sign of Taurus may have been a very contemplative year, a year where you may have faced or needed to face some unconscious stuff, some stuff that was hidden from you. So whether that's internally or externally, maybe things came to light around you that were disturbing or shocking, or maybe some things came to light within you, or you uncovered some hidden things within yourself, some sort of really fearful, ancient, animalistic places within you, some emotional states that you needed to face or were faced with. So 2018 sounds like it was a bit disturbing in some ways, but that may, perhaps what could have come from that is a sense of being more tuned into your intuition, or aware that the unconscious and hidden aspects of our lives, things being in the moonlight, you can't see things clearly in the moonlight. There are the things that are brightly illuminated by the sun, and you do actually have the sun card in this reading, are hidden at night, obviously. So maybe there was lots of hidden things you became aware of last year, or that even if you don't know what they are, you are aware that there are things unseen and unknown in your life that you were working on in some way, or that presented themselves to you some way in 2018. So moving on from that to 2019. So the first area we're going to look at is the area of love and relationships, and the card you guys have for that, just above the moon card down there, is the sun card. One of the most positive cards in the deck, kind of visually very opposite, and obviously in many ways opposite to the moon card. It's a very bright card, happy card, new life, new direction, daylight, seeing things clearly, seeing things in the daylight. It's a card of accomplishment, joy, pleasure, love, success, prosperity. Can be a card about team efforts coming together. That really free, innocent belief that anything's possible. That really kind of youthful, abundant, vital energy. This can be about the universe sort of coming together and helping you on your path. Ultimately, the sun, as opposed to the moon card, is a card about liberation and illumination, lightness after dark times. Maybe the area of in your life of relationships, whether that's personal relationships or work relationships, family relationships, has been a bit difficult, and now things are lightening up a bit, but things are being seen and revealed, which I think on the back of the moon card representing 2018 is very interesting. Because this card, even though it looks like a really happy card, and it is kind of a good omen card, a good luck card, and can come up after dark times, after when things that were hidden or hidden opportunities are now coming to light. It doesn't necessarily mean happiness per se. It just means that things are being revealed and seen now, which makes a lot of sense, I think, on the given the moon card, and straight away you have the sun card. Some things hidden are now seen. Sometimes we don't want to see things. We want to stick our heads in the sand. We want to be in denial. We're like, no shit, I really don't want to face that truth. Even though inside, on some level, we all know. We all know what's really kind of going on, I think. So in terms of having to work out what's real and what's not last year, and by real for me, when I think of things that are real, I don't really think of objects. I don't think of material things. They look real. They sound real, you touch them, they're real, just like this table or the cards, but that shit's not real. What is real is our connection to ourselves, our connection to other people, our connection to the universe, should you have a belief system. Those things are more real than any of the objects and material things we have around us. So maybe, whilst the sun card suggests kind of a brand new day, new things, the sun rising on new things in the area of relationships and love. Some things are going to be seen which obviously you can't unsee and be illuminated. And although that might be challenging, it's always a good thing, I think, because then you have a choice. Really, if things were hidden from you and you were in a state of sort of anxiety and fear last year, This year things will be, I think, more visible in the area of love and relationships. And when things are known, when we have more insight and awareness about things, we can make better choices. When we don't have all the facts, we're not really working from a good place. So I think it's a positive card in this position. It just may be challenging at times, but challenging in a way that can give you growth, real positive growth in the area of relationships in your life, whether even if that's a relationship with yourself or relationship with other people. Okay, so moving on to the second card across the top there, into areas of money and finances in 2019 for lovely bulls. You guys have the Nine of Wands. This is a card of stamina, of strength, of kind of resting after a battle. It's about good powers after recovery, healing after accident, illness, injury, after being in a bit of a battle. It's success after a setback, after delays. Card about persistence, resilience, a bit about sort of a test of faith almost. It's a 9, it's not a 10, but a 9 nevertheless, close to 10, close to the end. You're kind of resting now after some real hard work, but it's not the time to stop. You need to push on. You need to kind of gather up your energy, take some more deep breaths before going on and completing the task at hand. So it can be a card too about sort of protecting your boundaries. If you have been, say in the area, well, this is the area of money and finances, say things have been a bit of a battle and a bit of a struggle and you've sort of come out on top, you're a little bit battle weary, you're kind of looking around you going, all right, now what's the lay of the land now? I'm in a good place, but I kind of need to protect the place I'm at now. I need to protect my boundaries. I need to make some good choices. I need to rest and recuperate, but then keep going. It's, sort of gathering more fuel for the fire in a way. So sounds like things might have been a little challenging maybe in 2018 in the area of money and finances, or will be for 2019, but in the end you will win. This is a card sort of victory, but it's a bumpy kind of ride, but there will be success, even if there has been some delays and setbacks, or there may well be in this area this year. It's a test of faith though, and ultimately I think having faith, if you're tuned into yourself and tuned into, say, the universe, and have faith and keep putting one foot in front of the other, taking care of yourself in the meantime, resting when you need to, gathering more energy, and then continuing on. So this is a card saying keep going. You're on the way there. You're nearly at the end. You are going to win. It can get a bit rocky at times, but use your stamina, use your strength. Do not burn yourself out. So balance that energy within you somehow, or that energy financially within your life. Keep your eyes on the prize, I think, because you're nearly there. So 2019 could end up being a prosperous year, through a bit of ups and downs financially, but ultimately you will get there. Okay. So the next card in the reading, representing the area of work or study or hobbies, I've just kind of chunked them all in together there. You guys have the Chariot card. This is a card of energy, of action, of victory, of control, will, power, beating the competition, exploration, expansion, driving forward. Quite a young kind of energy. Can be a card about balancing logic and balancing emotion, the need to that urge to kind of rush in there and move on, but just be careful of not moving too quickly. You need to just, again, like I was sort of saying with the Nine of Wands card, perhaps there will be a bit of a battle, but there will be victory at the end. But you need to just make sure you don't burn through all your energy in this area, or perhaps both of these areas of money, work, money and work, which are obviously usually pretty closely tied together. This card can represent a journey, an ordeal, some obstacles, but ultimately triumph and the right action and reason prevailing in the end. against perhaps odds or overwhelming odds. It suggests you're going places, there is movement, but just balancing out the need for speed and versus being too slow. A card to persevere, to keep going, which is very much the message of the Nine of Wands as well, to keep going. Even though there may be some rough patches. Sometimes this card too can come up in the area of work and the area of money when you're seeking a change, or when you're feeling a bit stagnant and you're wanting some movement in the area of work and of your career. It does suggest promotion, in changes, expansion, unexpected travel associated with work. So 2019 could suggest new work or changes in that area, expansive, different areas of work or study or hobbies, something that different that you get into. You've been perhaps feeling a bit stuck or a bit indecisive, and this year brings in some new offers or opportunities this year, and you want to perhaps rush forward with them, but you've just got to balance out that rushing forward with just still sitting on the fence and being too slow in it as well. But it's a strong, this is a card of strong energy, strong sort of driven energy, and again it's a card of balance but persevering as well. So good. I think that's a really good card to have in the area of work, of study, of hobbies, of whatever you're kind of doing there with your time, what you're spending your time on to sort of get spending money, so to speak. The next card in the reading, representing the area of spirit, of spirituality, of faith, you guys have the King of Swords card. So the swords is, the suit is a card of thinking, of the head, matters of the mind, communication, words, beliefs, ideas. And you have the king. You know, kings are mature men, usually men in position of power, bosses, fathers, leaders, authority figures, you know, wise kind of men, or someone with the energy of that. Doesn't necessarily have to be a man, but someone with that energy. The King of Swords is a card about clear thinking, of truth, of authority, of power, of strong intellect. It can be a card about transformation as well. It's a card of independence, self-reliance, or sort of having a brilliant mind. Quite an analytical card. Being at the top of your game mentally, having vision, having clarity as a leader would, you know. Having all the information and knowledge at hand, being quick and precise. So what does this mean in the position of spirit? I wondered if there will be a man in your life this year, or someone with those kind of these qualities, who is going to lead the way, who is a leader in some way, excuse me, or is inspiring in some way, or has some wisdom and knowledge about them, him or her, or them, in the area of spirituality that you are drawn to. And whether that is a person, say, at a church, at a sort of organized religion, or some other kind of spiritual practice or pathway that you're really interested in, or something that connects you to the universe, you know, that's very flowing and beautiful, that represents faith to you, or God, or whatever to you, that there will be a person in a leadership role this year who you may look up to, you may learn from, you may be inspired by. You listen a lot to their words. They have a lot of experience. They are good with their words in these matters of spirit and spirituality and faith. Sometimes, though, this person may be a little bit too analytical, can be a little bit too precise, can sometimes be a little bit cold or harsh or distant. So just, I guess, watch out for that. And if that's the case, you know, do what you need to kind of, you know, they're only human at the end of the day, I suppose. But essentially, I'm just kind of wondering if there will be a prominent person in your life who shows up this year that is helpful for you in the area of spirituality in some regard for 2019. The final card across the top there, representing the area of health for Taurus, is the Ace of Cups. Beautiful card, Ace, new beginnings. And this is a card of cups, of emotions, of feelings, overflowing emotions, the promise of something new. Usually this card is about emotional growth, positive emotions, new love, beginning of new joy, contentment, productivity, overflowing with love and joy, fertility, creative beginnings, fullness, abundance, a gift or blessing as well from the universe, healing. So in regards to health, in this position, this card suggests there will be healing for you this year. You will heal from whatever is hurting you, whether you have a physical illness, you have an accident, you have an injury, or you have more of an internal, like a broken heart kind of thing, or some emotions that are very, have been very upsetting. The Ace of Cups in the position of health suggests healing, really positive healing this year. This is also a card about gifts from the universe. So, maybe with that King of Swords, whoever that person may be, or maybe that will be a state within you that you will get to, a position of sort of leadership within yourself, of real faith, and that faith will help you heal and recover from something. I'm not sure. Because the cup's about water, so this card could also be about fluids in the body, but resolution, I would say problems with fluid levels, hydration, blood flow, anything to do with that may come up this year. But ultimately, there will be healing and recovery. So it's a very positive card. So if you've got some health problems, expect them in 2019. I don't know when. But they should resolve themselves. Which I think is obviously excellent kind of card to have in the position of health. Okay, moving on now to the final two cards, the two tarot cards there. First one is obstacles. Obstacles that may show up for 2019 for Taurus. You guys have the Hanged Man card, which is interesting in terms of an obstacle position. Hanged Man is about, look at him, he's hanging upside down, so he's suspended. He's looking at things from a different worldview, a different perspective. It can be a card about things being put on hold, decisions put on hold, delays, sacrifices, being in limbo, waiting for a new perspective. Can be a card about self-sacrifice. The Hanged Man, he's he doesn't look too unhappy in the card, so he may be there by his own choice, just kind of pausing for a bit. But in the obstacle position, I'm wondering if he's kind of been sort of forced in that position to look at things in a new way. There in the card, you can see his head is kind of illuminated, so there again that sort of new perspective, looking at things from a completely new way, like upside down, new insight, new awareness. But this card, because it is sort of a card of suspension and waiting, I do think there may be some delays for you guys in some areas of your life this year, and you're having to put things on hold, which I know can be very frustrating. However, just pausing, and being forced to, or choosing to look at things from a new perspective, I think can always be very useful. So what choices do you have in that when there are delays, when you are feeling like restrained or bound in some way, like he is, or he's perhaps strung up and abandoned in some way? You have to kind of surrender to the situation. You can fight it as much as you want. I don't think it's going to help. In fact, it'll probably make the knots a bit tighter. So in this place of kind of halting and having to pause things for a while, it's although it is an obstacle and may stop you in your tracks a bit, it's an opportunity to think about things in a different way, to try and align yourself again with the flow of things, with the universe. Of paying attention to whatever obstacles are coming up, because you will have to either way. We can't force things. If things happen out well and truly outside of our control, this card is saying don't force things, don't push through that. You do need to surrender and perhaps reevaluate things, consider things from a different perspective, and think about how you're keeping yourself stuck as well. Whether there is external obstacles or internal obstacles, the answer to these things is reflection. Reflect, contemplate, pause, deal with the emotions that may come up. Can be very, very frustrating, obviously. Things ultimately flow and move again, so don't give up on that. Have some faith in that. Finally, the final card representing helpful tools that may be useful for you guys in 2019. King of Cups, another king card. Beautiful. Again, look, this could actually be a person, a male, again, another kind of leader, a male water sign who's very balanced in their emotions and control of emotions. This is a card about generosity, about being able to ride the emotional waves, sort of about being at ease with emotions, not getting caught up with them. If this is an actual person who's helpful, they're quite a family man, they're in tune with their emotions, they show love and lots of warmth, can be responsible, honest, educated, a professional, might be in the artistic endeavours somehow, could also be a religious person. Maybe this is connected somehow to the King of Swords, maybe that's the same person, I'm not sure. The point is, the energy from this card is about keeping your emotional composure, maintaining balance in your life, especially when you need to have patience. And right next to the Hanged Man card there, I'm thinking, oh yeah, you're going to have, you're going to be challenged in some way, and you might need to be practicing some patience big time. So the focus of the King of Cups is getting in tune with your emotions, less with your thinking, less with your head and more with your heart, and that will be really useful in helping you weigh up the pros and cons of whatever's happening for you. If there are those obstacles and you are a little bit stuck and forced to just pause, maintaining emotional balance, or maybe turning to someone who's in a position of authority in this way and is very good and very useful with supporting you emotionally, may be very useful. Maybe that's a therapist or a counsellor, I'm not too sure. So just finally, before we finish, I'm going to read from the Dreamtime Reading Cards booklet about centipede and focus. It's representing the overall theme for 2019 for Taurus. So the centipede is a multi-legged arthropod that has a very painful sting. It can grow up to approximately 15 centimetres or 6 inches long. Where I live, which is the author talking, the most common one is called a tiger centipede. The centipede has long rows of legs on both sides of its body and teaches you the importance of putting one foot in front of the other in order to get from point A to point B. It's fast moving and very focused on its mission in searching for prey, and it's a fierce predator. The centipede symbolises movement and progress, which we see in the cards, the Chariot, I think the Nine of Wands as well. It warns against multitasking and getting diverted, and instead asks you to pick one goal and focus your energy on completing that task. Now is not the time to be starting new projects or changing directions in your personal life or career. Rather, the centipede is asking you to focus your energy on making real progress within your current circumstances, to focus on what you want and where you are headed, then to put in place each little step that is necessary in order to achieve the outcomes you wish for. Don't waste your time or allow yourself to get sidetracked. And I think you will be getting a little bit sidetracked, as suggested by the Hanged Man card there, and needing to just practice some patience and balance around that, and stay focused even though you may get pulled off track. I'm wondering, the Chariot, you may want to go nyeh, 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 but this is saying please stay on track and just take the time that you're going to have to take, and don't fight that, and to gain a new perspective. I need to wrap up really quickly, so thank you so much, Taurus, for listening and watching this. I hope it will be useful for you. I hope it resonates. Maybe check back in a few months, and hopefully I'll see you in February for the next lot of readings. All the best.